should be covered when you're dealing with artificial intelligence requirements. In the case of transparency, before we go there, let me open up my big screen, make myself a bit smaller so you can actually see what's going on, what the subtopics are that are related to artificial intelligence transparency requirements. There we are. All right, now I've opened this up. What we see here are all the subtopics that are related to AI transparency. All the subtopics that you need to be covering and you need to be thinking about when you're dealing with AI transparency. Let's just start here, for instance, public trust. What do I do in public trust? And I'm going to walk you through one or two of these to explain what you're actually looking at before we're going to the 7 most important questions to ask in relation to AI transparency. Public trust, let's open that one up. Public trust is the confidence that an AI system will act responsibly, ethically, and transparently according to acceptable expectations. Now, if I open that up, what I can see now is these are some questions that I need to be asking in my organization to make sure that we're dealing in the correct way with AI transparency. Should all data from environmental impact assessments be made publicly available? Does the purpose risk damaging public trust and confidence in sharing health data generally? Which public cloud provider do you trust the most to ensure the privacy of your customers' data? The people that you enlist here to work with you to do this are system engineer, compliance officer, and data analyst. Those people, those job roles, those responsibilities, you need to have those in place to make sure you're doing the right thing here and they can deliver input to the questions. Now, if I look at the questions themselves, and I'm going to open up one, there's some advice here and there, some recommendations. Recommendations of what to look for. Those are the green balls here when you're dealing with that question. Which public cloud provider do you trust the most to ensure the privacy of your customers' data? The people who are dealing with that are the system engineer, compliance officer, and data analyst. It's related to public trust. And once you're talking with them, you're looking for these types of answers and making sure that we do these things. Have written policies and or procedures for reviewing and or approving providers. Know how much money a prospective service provider will cost. Use information collected only for the purpose stated to the data provider. Do you view security concerns as a significant impediment to cloud? And really need to be taken to improve the environmental performance of your applications to the cloud provider. What do you really need to make sure that that happens? So that's how it's all connected, how all these activities are interwoven around AI transparency. Let's do one more so you have an idea of what's going on. Let's take privacy by design. I'm just taking a random one here. Privacy by design. Opening that one up. Privacy by design is the practice of incorporating privacy considerations into the design and development of artificial intelligence systems to ensure transparency and fairness. Again, job roles, security architect, privacy compliance officer, data protection officer. Now, when I'm talking to the data protection officer, I can ask some more questions and some more activities that need to be in place and taken care of by the data protection officer. See, I just clicked on the data protection officer ball and all bubble and all the activities and questions I need to be asking to that person are in there as well. Now, all this data is available in the data set down below. If you go to the link below, you end up in our store where you can purchase all this data and use it to your own benefit in your own environment. If I open this one up, again, we'll get to see the questions that are related to privacy by design. Is your privacy policy aligned with industry standards? What organization resources are devoted to privacy by design? Do you incorporate privacy by design and allow control of your data in your enterprise cloud? And then again, if I open that up, and if I open each and every one of them up, I'll get to see more areas on what to look for, the best ideas, the recommendations, optimize the shared business services in and other enterprises, extend your current IT infrastructure and skill sets into the cloud, etc. Two more things we get to see here are this data. Thing one, that's the main keyword that this one aligns to. So if I want to see more questions around data, I click on that one. I won't be doing that now because I'm pretty sure that my screen will fill up with what we've got here. Data. And this one here shows the prioritization, and that's important for the most important questions. So all the questions, and there's a total of let's have a look. How many are there? Let me quickly have a peek. There are a total of, yeah, there we are. There are a total, clicking on the wrong button here, a total of, there we go, questions. There are a total of 436 essential inquiries, so questions. There are a total of 93 job roles and 1950 recommendations, 1950 recommendations in total. And all in all, they cover close to 100 of these sub areas here, those balls that we see here. So that's all in the data set down below. Now you've got an idea of what's in this and how it's all connected. The priority of these questions is organized with an algorithm that looks at one question and then looks at all the other questions, looks at the next question, looks at all the other questions, and prioritizes that specific question in relationship to all the others. So the most important ones come bubbling up to the top automatically. The data that's in here has a lot of responsibility. So the job roles, I've shown you the job roles, some of them. These are all the job roles that are in the data set and all the activities that they need to ensure, that they need to take care of. So for instance, you could use this to look at if you've got these roles in your organization and if those roles have the activities that are aligned to them. So if I just take let's take this one, AI engineer. Take this one. And that's a question to be asking of the AI engineer related to fairness measures. And these are the activities that you want to be looking for when you're talking to that AI engineer. Privacy expert, same thing. It's got a few more questions that you can ask of the privacy expert. And these are the job activities that are related to that person. So these are all the job roles. I'll pan over them and you can have a look at them. They're in the data set down below as well. The other thing that's in this data set before we come to the 7 most important questions is obviously the questions themselves. So these are 1,000 of the questions. Now these are all the questions that are in there because there is a total of 436 questions that are related to artificial intelligence transparency in this data set, in this knowledge graph here that we get to see. So again, when I click on one, how is personal data protected? Here up come the explanation, what it is, and up come who's taking charge of that, and up come activities of what we need to be taken care of. Now those are the best ideas, the green balls, and that's the last thing I'm showing you before we go to the 7 most important questions. So you got a good overview and a feeling of what this is. So these are all the activities that we need to be covering when we're dealing with AI transparency, all the activities. And I can click on one ball actually here, like assess your organization's potential for AI, and the privacy compliance officer. What steps has the vendor taken to implement data protection by design? That's the question here, and engage the privacy compliance officer. All right, so now we've got an idea of how everything's connected. Privacy by design, related to privacy by design. Now let's go, without further ado, to the most important part of today's session, which is the 7 most important questions. Here they are. So what I've done is I've picked the 7 most important questions with the highest prioritization. So if you cover these in your organization, these 7 questions, you're on a roll in regards to AI transparency. All right, let's start here. Number 1, do the public know that data is used in algorithmic governance systems? So according to transparency, do people actually know that you're using that data? Privacy policies know that. Algorithmic governance, that's what it's related to, refers to the use of AI to inform decisions that shape organizations' policies with a focus on transparency and ethical requirements. That's what you're doing here. It's related to data, obviously. These are the job roles that we need to cover here, that we need to ask this question of. And these are the activities that we then can be looking for and making sure we're doing in that organization. Demonstrate full and immediate visibility, accountability, and transparency. Make client information available in a shared repository to ensure transparency. These are some ideas that you can focus on to make sure you do it right. Have ESG controls integrated in your corporate governance, which makes sense to me. Reconcile enterprise architecture work, information management, and data governance. So combine the two, basically. Just like we're doing with DevOps, combine this in AI Ops as an idea here. So do the public know how the data is used in algorithmic governance systems? One of the 7 most important questions to ask, and these are the activities that you can be doing here. Let's move on to the next question. Does your data governance cover ethical and privacy related concerns? Do you actually have that built into your data governance? What do you understand is key to good governance? Evaluate the performance of your senior leaders and your governance. Effectively respond to changes in HR regulation and governance. And this is related to data privacy, a set of measures taken to protect the information contained in artificial intelligence systems from from unauthorized access. That's what we're doing here. That's related to data privacy. Next question. What security and data privacy regulations apply to your organization? Do you actually know what the legal ramifications are of AI currently and what's in the making? Are you actually scanning the horizon continuously? All right, privacy regulation in the context of artificial intelligence require organizations to be transparent about how they collect, process, store, and use personal data. So you need the chief privacy officer here, you need the compliance officer here, you need the data protection officer here. Privacy legislation is abound these days. GDPR, it all started there in Europe, and Europe has now gone ahead with with AI regulation, AI transparency regulation as well. They'll probably be turned into law by December 24. These are the activities that you need to be looking for. Work to recognize guidelines as professional standards and regulations. Have the right tools to meet your big data privacy requirements. Ensure proper protection against the security policy and regulation of artificial intelligence. Make sure that that's all in place. Talk to these people about that, about what security and data privacy regulations apply to our organization, and have legal involved there as well, and let them do some digging and read up on what's currently going on. We have those 4 questions to go with. Let's start with this one. Has your organization established and documented data governance frameworks with multiple sensitivity tiers? Governance frameworks provide an outline of standards for ensuring transparency in the use of in AI that is tailored to each organization's unique context. All right, tailored to each organization's unique context. Let's pull it out a bit. There we go. We have the privacy analyst that's working hard here. And we have, these are the actions that you need to be looking for. Anticipate the need to be performed as part of the requirements. What needs to be performed as part of the requirement when you look at documented data governance framework with multiple sensitivity tiers. So multiple priorities, basically. Have a critical mass of stakeholders and our allies to work with in developing the governance. Split your customers into different groups based on price sensitivity or sensitivity in general and data sensitivity specifically in this relationship, in regards to this. How aware are legal practitioners? There we go. Legal people are getting logged in here. Are legal practitioners of data privacy regulations and security risks? Very important question to ask here. Open it up, and we have this one here saying build trust and transparency into your AI teams. Need to be in place for holding users responsible for the input of the AI system. And developers address the issues related to the data and how is that determined. Make sure it's doing that. How aware are legal practitioners? Again, data protection officer we have here. Lawyer was in there somewhere as well. It's not linked to this one, but lawyer is one of the job roles that are in there as well. How does the governance model for data privacy protection influence the anonymization initiative? There we go. Data anonymization is the process of removing personally identifiable information, PII, from data to meet AI transparency requirements. So make sure that the data cannot be linked back to a person. Data transformer, you need that in place. Data masker, you need the person in place, which is pretty straightforward. I like that title, data masker. Let's have a look. There's more for data masker to do. Busy person here. Data transformer, extract, transform, and load. Benefit, if certified against the disaster recovery process, and how do you influence that? How do you benefit that? You have to perform a full end-to-end test of a special protection, see if it actually works. Have a data protection and privacy protection influence the anonymization. Find the right executive sponsor for your data initiative. And that's for everything here, basically. It should be a board issue, data privacy, because it impacts the whole company. Build trust and transparency into your AI teams that need to be in place for holding users responsible for the input of the AI system. And have developers address the issues related to data determined. Make sure they're taking care of that. Zooming out, this is what we got now. These are all the 7 questions answers. Oh, -1. What security measures, this is the last one. What security measures are in place to protect the data center against unauthorized physical intrusion? Data protection is a set of rules and procedures that must be followed in order to ensure the secure processing of personal data when implementing AI systems. So have a look at the compliance manager here to increase transparency and accountability for each component of the human AI collaboration at work. All right. Now we have the 7 most important questions to ask in relationship to AI transparency requirements and who to involve there. So who do we involve here? Obviously legal, the lawyers. We involve the compliance manager, privacy engineer, data engineer, AI ML, artificial intelligence machine learning engineer, compliance analyst, compliance officer, chief privacy officer, data protection officer, privacy analyst, the data transformer, and the data masker. And the blue balls are the 7 questions that we need to be asking to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Now, this is like a framework, a roadmap actually, to make sure that you're doing this, that you're taking care of AI transparency requirements. Use this and start from there. So start with these 7 questions and these activities that I just walk you through to make sure that you're doing AI transparency right. If you want to dive deeper, you go into the full data set, the complete data set that covers all the activities, the 93 job roles in total, the 93 AI requirements, functions, and their responsibilities. I'm just looking up the numbers here. The 436 essential inquiries, so the questions to be asking there. The 1950 transparency requirements recommendations, the green balls here. And they all cover the subsets of AI transparency, which are the blue greenish balls here: model accuracy, fairness measures, transparency requirements. There's about 100 of them, 100 separate areas that you need to focus on and cover when you deal with AI transparency. All right, with that, that was my input for the day. That was AI transparency for the day. I hope you got a lot out of it. See you again tomorrow. Don't forget to go to the link below. They'll give you access to it's purchasable, obviously. You can buy the data there. It comes in a book, that's one, and it comes in a data set that's as a CSV, as a merge file, easy to import into everything, so you can see all those connections. Should you wish to have this into data format that you're looking at right now, so you can actually show and tell in your organization, contact me and I'll help you set that up once you got the data. Thank you so much, and we'll talk again tomorrow.